Hello and welcome to Mel's Music Minute podcast, where we talk about my favorite music genres and rank the bands. I'll start by explaining my podcast a little. I choose a music genre, and from that genre, I would usually choose 5 popular bands and 5 lesser talked about bands, but in this episode, we will only be talking about 10 pretty big bands. Most people know them. In fact, I think all people know a lot of them, and that's because in this episode I have a guest, Kyla from Metallica Talk, and she will be talking about, obviously, Metallica, because that's what her podcast is about, and I'm really excited for that. These bands that I choose can go in one of 6 tiers: S, A, B, C, D, and F. S is the top. That's where all the good bands go, my favorite music, the best of the best, and F is the worst, although the possibility of ending up in F tier is very, very low because, well, I usually find something pretty good about all bands. Even if your music sucks, there's usually something that I can still enjoy about it, so you probably won't end up in F. There are many things that impact my choices, from the music itself, like the guitar, if the drums, if it's like a good beat, even album covers. The people themselves will impact my decision, as we will talk about later in this episode. And there's also personal impact, how this music has gotten me through points in my life, or even the lyrics. If they are really crappy, I'm probably not going to put you too high. Today, we will be talking about heavy metal / thrash metal. I don't really know very many thrash metal bands, and I'm pretty sure they're just heavy metal bands that are like the same thing. It's just like given a different name. So we'll just be talking about heavy metal bands, and I have quite a bit to say about a lot of them. So I'll get started right now. My first band of this episode is Anthrax. And Anthrax, I'm pretty excited to talk about because they were actually on my Spotify Wrapped this year. They are usually on my top 5 bands, and this year was not any different. Last year, I had them, I think they were my top most listened song was Bring the Noise. I don't even know how, but apparently I listened to it 80 times. So Anthrax, they're pretty cool. I mean, I don't really have a whole bunch to say about them. I just really like them. The music is really good. It's really loud. I like loud. I really liked Bring the Noise, which they did with Public Enemy. And there's a lot of favorite songs I have. So I have, to name a few, like I said, Bring the Noise, Only, Room for One More, Medusa, Madhouse, Crush, Inside Out, Nobody Knows Anything are a few of my favorites that I really like by Anthrax. I don't really have an issue with any of the members. They all seem pretty chill. The music's really good. Like I said, I don't have a whole lot to say about Anthrax. I just really like them. I don't have any negative stuff. I mean, I guess sometimes their lyrics can be, not the best, but I don't really have anything that would, make me not like them. They're also lots of fun to draw. I think I mentioned that in every episode. I really like to draw bands, and they are no exception. They're lots of fun to draw, especially Scott Ian. He's always jumping around stage, and that makes for great pose references. For Anthrax, obviously, I really like them, so I'm going to put them in S tier. I don't have anything else to say. They're in S tier. They're my favorite. My next band is Slayer, and Slayer is kind of the opposite of Anthrax. I went to listen to them one time because I like heavy metal, so I went to go listen to them, and I was a little bit disappointed because I don't really know what it is. There's something about them that just isn't really as great I think it might be the singing. His voice, it's not necessarily like terrible, but it's not really my thing. It's the music itself isn't bad. It's okay. But yeah, I think it's the singing that really throws me off. Although when I went back to listen to it for this episode, I kind of realized that it wasn't as bad as I remember, so I might give them another try. But because I did listen to them, I only listened to a few of their songs to kind of get a feel for it. So as of what I heard, not my favorite thing. Ranking wise, I might give them maybe a C tier. Like, I don't want to put them too low because I might give them another try. They're not like horrible or anything, but it's just, there's something about his voice that kind of annoys me or throws me off. I think it's not even his voice, it's just the singing. But other than that, I think a lot of the album covers are really cool. So, hello, Kyla. So, my next band is Metallica. And since you're basically our Metallica expert, would you like to give me some information on what you think about Metallica, why they're your favorite, some information you'd like to let me know?
So, I mean, for Metallica, I've been a fan of Metallica for a long time. I know a lot about them. I could go on about them for hours on end. Obviously, I'm not going to do that. But, I don't know. I think Metallica, throughout all of their albums, have had such different sounds in each one, and I think that's what makes the band so interesting to see how they've changed throughout the years, and especially like their dynamic with their fans. It's not just a fan base, it's a whole family, and I think that's very cool.
That's so cute.
I don't know. I mean, as a guitar player, I think that's kind of what drew me into Metallica, because they have so many fun riffs and solos, and kind of Metallica is definitely what made me want to become a better guitar player as well.
Yeah, their music is really good. Mm-hmm. See, I don't really listen to Metallica a whole lot. Not because it's not good, but I kind of have this complex where somebody tells me to listen to it, I'm not going to listen to it. So when my dad's like, yeah, Metallica's great, I'm like, cool, I'm not going to listen to it now. Yeah. But I think definitely my favorite album is Kill 'Em All, because I literally didn't listen to, like, any other album. And I like Motor Breath. I think that's my favorite song. But Seek and Destroy is also pretty good. Mm-hmm. Do you have any favorites?
Oh, I love Hit the Lights. That one just, like, smacks you in the face in, like, the best way possible. It's fun. It's a fun riff. That whole album is so good.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if I had to pick another album, for not necessarily for you to listen to, but I want you to listen.
But I might listen to it.
If I don't tell you to, you might listen to it. So,
okay. All right, maybe.
I think Injustice for All is a really good album. I don't want to nerd out on guitar, but the guitar tone on that album is my favorite. That one's my favorite. I love all the songs from that album. It's definitely the one that's on in my car the most.
So if you were to rank them from F to S, I would assume you'd probably put them in S?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll go with that then. You're the expert, so we'll go with yours. That was Kyla from Metallica Talk, and thank you so much for being on here. She's going to be back to talk about Black Sabbath later. So my next band is Megadeth, and obviously Metallica and Megadeth don't get along very well because Megadeth's singer, Dave Mustaine, was originally in Metallica and got kicked out. Not fun. But he started his own band, Megadeth, and I have a lot of complaining to do. So Megadeth actually isn't that bad. I think on the people themselves, I hate Dave Mustaine. He's annoying. He's really annoying. His voice is also really annoying. Like, it's horrible. But it's not horrible enough to not listen to them. I do like some of their songs. Symphony of Destruction's okay. I like High Speed Dirt, and Fastlane is probably my favorite by them. And I'd like to say that the bass intro of Peace Sells is really great. But then he starts singing and it just takes me out and I can't listen to the rest of it. It's just the intro. So maybe I'll learn the bass for that. Maybe I won't, because I kind of don't like Megadeth that much. I think if I were to rate Megadeth, they'd probably also be in C tier with Slayer, because they're, like I said, they're not horrible, but I don't really like them either. But like, I actually like some of their music, so they actually have a reason to be in C tier other than I don't want to be mean. But my next band is Pantera. And Pantera, I really like Pantera. Their music is great. I love, can I say that? Can I say his name? Daryl Paul. I love Daryl Paul. I don't know if I can say his stage name. I don't like Phil Anselmo, though. I don't like him. He's not cool. Vinnie Paul and Daryl Paul, though, they're really cool. Rex, I don't really have any thoughts on. I don't really know anything about him. But the music is great. Love the guitar, obviously. I was listening to Pantera the other day in one of my classes, and I had my friend next to me, and she listens to more like J-pop and K-pop and like techno music, more like anime type stuff. And I said, hey, this song's really great. I think I was listening to... Oh, I can't say that. I was listening to a song that I can't say, but I was listening to it and I was really enjoying it. And then I turned to my friend and I said, hey, this is a great song. You should listen to it. I promise. It's really cute. And so we traded headphones so that we would listen to each other's music. And she just had this very sad face. It was great. She said, our music taste is very different, and then immediately gave me my headphones back. So that was pretty fun. But yeah, Pantera's great. I think some of my favorites are Cowboys from Hell, 5 Minutes Alone, I'm Broken, and Walk, and Floods. Those are some of my favorites. There's also other favorites that, like I said, I can't really say because of certain curse words. But they're really great for when you're angry. It really helps you get the anger out. As long as you don't, like, actually hit people, of course. Just keep it to yourself and just, like, scream along and you're fine. Obviously don't hurt people. And so if I were to put them on a rating, I'd put them in A tier because... Like, as for Floods, like, the guitar is great, and I constantly see people talking about how awesome the guitar is, and I think it's great, but the singing's kind of annoying. Like, well, actually, it's not that bad, but it just kind of continues on for a really long time, and I wish there was just more of the guitar, so there's that. So Pantera would be an A tier, because some of the singing, like, I won't lie, Phil's voice is maybe a little bit annoying, but not like horribly annoying. It's not Dave Mustaine level. So, the next band is, I don't actually know if they're considered a heavy metal band, but I put them on here because I want any excuse to talk about Godsmack, because Godsmack has currently become one of my more favorite bands. Obviously, I really like them. So, Godsmack, I love their self-titled album, and that's probably what I'm going to ask for Christmas. Some of my favorite songs by them are Voodoo, Time Bomb, Moon Baby, I Stand Alone, and Awake. Those are all really great. And they, especially songs like Voodoo, really give me really good inspiration for some drawings. The music video especially. I don't usually watch music videos, so the fact that I've watched that one a few times says a lot. there's some really interesting stuff going on. But yeah, they're definitely great. Speaking of drawing, though, I've tried to draw like solely Erna and the members of this band. I just can't. None of them, for some reason. It's literally, they, especially like the guitarist, but the guitarist, he's great, but I can't draw him. I can't draw solely Erna either. Like, I can't draw any of them. It's crazy. That's never happened before. If I were to rate Godsmack, I would put them in S tier because they're great. So definitely gonna ask for a Godsmack album for Christmas. My next band is Motorhead, and Motorhead is one of those bands that is like everywhere. Like, you hear about them when you see like classic hard rock bands or hard metal bands. Here's something pretty embarrassing, is that when I chose to talk about Motorhead, I assumed that I knew some of their music, just not by name, because I live with a dad that basically religiously listens to rock and metal. So I thought, hey, yeah, I probably know some of these. So I went to go listen to them. I've never heard a single Motorhead song, and it's crazy to me. It's also kind of embarrassing. I've literally never heard Motorhead. Wild. But I do like their music. So rank-wise, I'd probably put them in A tier. Lemmy's voice is just a tad bit like... Actually, I think it fits the music, but it's a little too much for me. But it does kind of fit it, so I can't really dock any points for that. Definitely not horrible, though. I do like the majority of their music, or at least the, 9 or 10 songs that I listen to. Some of my favorites are The Game. Yeah, that one's probably my favorite, actually. That's like my number one favorite was The Game. Which they did with WWE, which was pretty cool. It's kind of a weird song. I don't even know how to describe it. It's kind of weird, but it sounds pretty good. So that's my favorite. Motorhead, definitely need to listen more to. It's kind of embarrassing that I don't really know any of their music, but for putting a band on here that I don't really know, I'm pretty proud of choosing a band that I didn't know, and turned out great. New music to listen to, and less embarrassed now because I do know some of their music.
Hi, I'm Kyla. I'm back.
My can't even speak anymore. My 8th band is Black Sabbath, so I brought Kyla back to talk about them. And once again, just what do you like about them? What are your thoughts?
I mean, Black Sabbath, in my opinion, is one of the most influential bands ever.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if that's a stretch, but that's just personal belief, I guess. But I don't know, Black Sabbath definitely introduced me to the world of metal and kind of brought me back into that. And their songs are really fun to play on guitar. I'm a big Ozzy Osbourne fan.
So. Rest in peace, Ozzy.
Yes, rest in peace, Ozzy. I was very heartbroken to hear that news. I know. But yeah, Black Sabbath, definitely one of my favorite bands.
Black Sabbath, I think their music's great. I don't really have any criticisms. I don't have anything really to add to that. I agree with most of that. I think Ozzy's voice, I mentioned with Motorhead that Lemmy's voice is kind of over the top sometimes, but they did a song with Ozzy Osbourne called Hellraiser, and I thought that was a really great song as well, and I think their voices work really well together. So that's all I had to add. Black Sabbath is great. How would you rate them?
Oh, like S, that.
S tier?
Okay, S tier, automatically.
S tier. Yeah, I agree with that. Black Sabbath is great. They're really influential. Without Black Sabbath, I don't think really any heavy metal would really exist because they were really what started it. Mm-hmm. Anything else?
No?
No? Okay. So I'm kind of running out of time, but my second to last band is actually a band from where I'm from, Germany, and that's Rammstein. Rammstein is like the only German band anyone ever knows for some reason. It's kind of weird because there's other bands like Die Toten Hosen, Die Ärzte. There's definitely more, but I don't listen to a whole lot of German music. There's a lot more bands that people could know. Oh wait, I just thought of some more. I'm not gonna like name them all now though. But especially with like Die Toten Hosen and stuff, I'd expect people to listen to that more because it's more like chill rock type stuff. It's not really as heavy. But for some reason, when people are like, oh yeah, I know German music, and it's Du hast by Rammstein, and that's the only thing they know. It's really weird. Their music isn't bad. I think Du hast isn't really that great of a song. I think it just might annoy me because I've heard it so often. And my dad's like, oh, do you know any German music? I'm like, yeah, I know German music. And he's like, oh, so you know Rammstein? I'm like, yeah, but it's Rammstein. Like, I listen to like other things other than Rammstein. Rammstein, like I said, not terrible music, but also kind of overrated. They're kind of just mid. If I had to choose my favorite songs by them, I'd say Engel and Sonne. Oh, actually, I think Sonne might actually be their top song. That one's a lot better than Du hast. Engel und Sonne are my favorites, definitely. There's more, but I can't like name them off the top of my head. Yeah, I mean, Rammstein, they're just kind of mid, and I'm sick of them being the only German band anyone knows. Like, especially because everyone knows Du hast. Like, dude, it's so annoying. My final band slash bands question mark is Sepultura or Soulfly. So I'm pretty sure that they're the same band, just renamed. And so I remember learning about Soulfly. I think they were originally named Sepultura before they were named Soulfly. I'm just going to call them Soulfly from here on out because saying both of them gets kind of annoying and I know them better as Soulfly. So I learned about Soulfly from the song, I'm going to butcher this, Uma Baba Rumba. They're Brazilian, so I probably said that very wrong. And this song, amazing. 10 out of 10, top tier. If all their music sounded this good and this crunchy, the bass, chef's kiss. If all of it sounded that good, like exactly like that song, I think they might have gone in S tier. But I listened to some of their other music, and they're not really... There's another song that I somewhat like. It's okay, but there's parts that I don't like. I can't say it, though, because it has a bad word in it. But that one's not that bad. But when I started to listen to some of their other music, it kind of was a lot more like Slayer. And like I said, the music itself isn't that bad. I think it's the singing that kind of... I think it's like, I like loud music, but there's something about the singing for both Soulfly and Slayer that I just kind of don't like. On the other hand, I never actually listened to the original, like, Sepultura. I never really listened to, like, Sepultura, but Soulfly, I do like their album covers, though. They have the Primitive album cover. It's really cool. It's got a bird on it with some fire at the bottom. Bright colors. Love that. And the Soulfly self-titled album is where oh my gosh. Umba Baba Rumba. It's really hard to say. That one is really the only one I know. But I think I should probably give them another chance as well. I started kind of learning more about them when I got into nu metal, because they're kind of nu metal, I think. I'm not quite sure. I didn't talk about them last episode, though. Soulfly, if I were to rank them, I think I would put them, as of right now, in C tier. Yeah. Because I really like Umapu. I can't say it. That one song about the football player. Yeah, I like that one. That one's really good. So that's my bands. That's my rankings. Thank you for listening, and thank you, Kyla, for talking with me about music, because it's like the only thing I do. And that was episode 4. My next episode, we will be talking about punk rock, pop punk, all of the above. And once again, I probably won't have smaller bands next time, because I want to talk about 2 genres of punk. Like I said, pop punk and hard punk. And I have a lot to say about that one, because I just watched a punk movie that was pretty cool that had some of my favorite punk music in it. And that'll be next week. Thank you for listening.